Do you ever catch yourself scrolling through social media and suddenly feeling felt behind? It's a quiet feeling. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's just a low hum of comparison. You see somebody on holiday in the Maldives, somebody else buying a house at 28, another person making six figures from a side hustle that you've never even heard of. And for a moment, your own life feels like it's lagging behind. The truth, though, is that most of this is created, a highlight reel. And even more importantly, you're probably doing a lot better than you think. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the people who are quietly working on themselves. The ones who don't always feel like they're winning, but might be doing far better than they give themselves credit for. Let's go through 7 signs you're actually doing well financially, even if it doesn't feel like it. And if even a few of these resonate with you, you might want to stop and take that in. You're not behind, you're already on the right path. 1. You spend less than you earn. This sounds so simple, and in a way, it really is, but it's also rare. If you consistently spend less than what you bring in each month, even if it's just by a little, you're ahead of the game. That means you're creating breathing room for yourself. That's room for savings, room for investments, emergencies, or just room for peace of mind. In the UK, shockingly, around a third of adults don't have any savings at all, and many are relying on credit cards to cover basic expenses. If you're not doing that, if you're living within your means, that's something to quietly celebrate. You don't need to have a six-figure salary to be good with money. You just need to control what you keep. 2. You have an emergency fund, even if it's just a small one. Do you have a few months of expenses tucked away just in case? That's not just sensible, that's strong. It means you've thought ahead. It means you've taken responsibility for the unpredictability of life. And that's something a lot of people avoid dealing with until it's far too late. Even 500 quid in a rainy day fund puts you ahead of millions of people in the UK. And if you've saved 3 months of expenses, you've built financial resilience. You've given yourself time, and that's one of the most valuable things that money can buy. 3. You don't have much debt, or you're actively paying it down. Debt is a heavy burden, as we all know, not just financially, but emotionally. It's a draining shadow that follows you around. If you have little to no debt, or if you're actively paying it off in a structured way, you're not behind, you're winning. A silent battle that a lot of people are quietly losing. The average credit card debt per household in the UK is over 2 grand, and the average interest rate on that is over 20%. That is a tough hill to climb. So if you've managed to avoid high interest debt, or you're on top of your repayments, you're not just surviving, you're building a solid foundation for the future. 4. You're investing, even if it's just a little. Are you putting money into a pension, an ISA, or the stock market? If yes, you're doing something that most people don't start until it feels too late. And yet, it's one of the most powerful things that you can do for your future self. The earlier you start, the better it will be. Even £25 a month into an index fund adds up over time. It's not about timing the market or picking the next big thing. It's about time in the market. And starting it at all is the hardest part. Only around a third of adults in the UK have investments outside of their pensions. If you're in that group or thinking about joining it, you're laying bricks for a better future. 5. You have supportive relationships. This one might not sound like a financial point, but stay with me here. If you're surrounded by people who want the best for you, who encourage you, challenge you, check in on you, you have something that money can't buy. Why does this matter financially? Well, because money problems are often emotional problems in disguise. We spend to cope. We avoid our bank balances out of fear. We buy things to feel seen, validated, or less alone. But if you've got multiple people in your corner, even just one or two, you're far more likely to make wise, patient, grounded decisions with money. Emotional wealth shows up in your financial health, and it's one of the most underrated assets that are out there. 6. Your own home, or you're working towards long-term stability. Let me be very clear, you don't need to own a property to be financially successful, But if you do own a home, or if you've got a plan in place to rent affordably, build stability, and possibly invest in property over the long term, then you're playing the long game, and that's what matters. In the UK, home ownership is out of reach for a lot of young people. If you've managed to get there, or you're taking intentional steps towards it, you're building something real. And if you're not quite there yet, but you're keeping your housing costs manageable, not overextending and prioritizing financial flexibility, then you're definitely on the right path. 7. You're not driven by social media pressure. This one's harder to measure, but it might be the most powerful of all. If you've stopped letting social media dictate what success looks like to you, if you no longer feel the need to catch up with strangers on the internet, if you're focused on your own progress, your own version of enough, then that mindset is a quiet form of freedom. Comparison steals more than just joy. It steals your focus, your peace, your patience with yourself. Letting go of that pressure doesn't mean you don't care about growth. It means you're playing your own game. And that's how real financial progress happens. Not in comparison, but in consistency. If you recognize even 4 or 5 of these signs in your own life, then you're not behind, you're not failing, you're not off track. You're building quietly and intentionally. And that kind of progress often goes unnoticed until one day it doesn't. So take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Not where someone else is, not what someone else has, but where you are right now. Because chances are you're doing far better than you think.